Hi, Maria Mandarino here today, and we're going to talk about a little bit about astrology today, and particularly the solar eclipse that's coming up on the 29th of March. And we're going to see that in the context of the nine Enneagram types, where your challenges are and how you can act to make the most of this energy. But before we jump into that, please go ahead and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It makes a huge difference for me and really helps me reach people and just makes this a tremendous springboard forward for a project that's really near and dear to me. And I'm assuming if you're here, it's meaningful for you too. So please hit that subscribe button, as well as remember to like, comment, and share. I really appreciate the comments and your unique insights. There really isn't a whole format for the kind of work that I'm doing here, combining these two things. They just make a heck of a lot of sense to bring together. I do both of them. The Enneagram has been near and dear to my heart for many, many years. I am a certified Enneagram practitioner, as well as a spiritual director. So I use this in my work, but I see the Enneagram as, what happens in our physical experience in the world once we incarnate and we have that first connection with our caregiver, and we start to figure out how to get our needs met. But prior to that, there's this spark that comes from the heavens, and that is our chart. That's when we arrive. Here's your map. And the Enneagram, I believe, is how we set out to go about to meet that divine blueprint that we choose to come in with. It's how we meet our chart. The Enneagram is how we meet our chart. So again, there's no boilerplate for this work. And it's very much how I work in direction with people, very intuitively driven, using different esoteric ideas, systems, all somehow connected to sacred geometry, which both of these things are. So today we are going to talk about the solar eclipse in Aries that's happening on the 29th. And we're going to talk about this in the context of bold new beginnings, because Aries is the start of the astrological year. So, I love New Year's, all the different ones that we get, right? Because I look at it as we always get another chance to start something new, right? So we have the new year, the traditional new year in our culture on January 1st, right? But then we get the Chinese New Year, and then we get the astrological New Year, and then there are a couple other New Years in there later on in the year. We have the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah. So I see that as opportunity to assess, revisit, and start again. So Aries season is one of those new starts. It's a natural, right? It's the beginning of spring. So we're springing forth. Aries is the ram, likes to charge in. So we have access to this fantastic energy right now to get things done, right? So catalyzing change is one of the things that we see at this time of year, right? And new cycles, embracing new ideas, and they require, I would say, confidence is a good word to pin on this energy with this solar eclipse in Aries, right? Because it's solar and it's bright, right? So yeah, and then we have each Enneagram type. So there's 9 ways to experience this eclipse. All right. In order to to move forward as the ram does, in Aries, right? So the inceptional energy of this astrological new year. There's 9 ways to do this inceptional energy. And we're going to talk about the challenges, your normal challenges within your type, and then practical ways to harness that. So with Enneagram type 1, the reformer, also called the perfectionist, right? So where are your struggles with perfectionism, hesitating to get things done because you're afraid it won't be perfect, you might be criticized, you have your own inner critic that's, screaming on speaker 24/7 for the type ones, right? So one of the ways you can harness this Aries energy and this eclipse is to take bold action without overanalyzing. I think most type ones can be bold, but it's the get rid of the overthinking, the overanalyzing, and embrace the progress over the perfection. And I don't mean to say good enough, but with ones, that's a thing. It's good enough, let's start, Let's, it's again, that's that inceptional energy of Aries. Great time to just say, okay, let's start it. Might not be 100%, maybe it's 98%. Let's go. Right? Aries is definitely that let's go kind of energy, right? So focus on that let's go, that progress type of energy more than the perfection and just getting caught in it. You're trying to perfect something to the point where you never get it done or you never release it, whatever the project is, right? So, and the other piece of that for type ones with this energy, it's going to sound crazy to you because it's not going to be comfortable, but it may be comfortable right now because of this Aries energy. Do something spontaneous. Just try it. It's not your normal wheelhouse, but if you're going to play with that, this is the time. Okay. So give that a whirl, type ones. Type two are helpers. You're prone to overcommitting to others, neglecting your own needs. We know what happens when you do that over and over again. We see that explosive energy, that shockingly explosive energy. 2 starts to go to an 8, right? An unhealthy 8. So that's going to be your challenge during this eclipse because it is Aries is eruptive, right? It's active. So be careful too with your challenge energy, right? So where can you go instead? What are the practical ways you can harness this energy to use it to, for your higher interests, right? To nourish your higher self. Prioritize your own needs. That should always be on your radar, type twos, okay? But also set a personal goal and take the first step toward that goal without seeking permission from others because you tend to think you shouldn't come first. Everyone else has to come first. Make sure you have everybody else's needs met, right? And then maybe you can get around to looking for. So there's this permission slip kind of thing that type twos can do. So, the hell with the permission slip. It's Aries season. You don't need it. Okay. So prioritize your own needs. You should always be doing that to stay in that healthy two. But set a personal goal, something that's important to you, set a personal goal and take the first step without looking for validation or permission from the people around you. Okay. It's going to empower you. And Aries is all about feeling empowered. Type 3 are achievers, are performers. Your challenge is you tend to rush ahead without thinking about it, right? So during Aries season, you guys got to be watched. Okay. You're the ones that are probably going to need to do a little more work because you're going to want to go with this powerful eclipse energy. So number one, slow down, type threes. So best place to start here, slow down and give some thought to whether your ambitions align with your authentic self. So your heart types, but this takes some checking in, okay? Because you get caught up in the doing, right? So check in with your heart and ask if your ambitions, the things that are driving you through this active Aries energy, this exceptional energy, are they really about you? Or are they about your human doings that you get caught up in every day, the machine that you turn into, okay? For recognition. So is what you're doing or these ambitions that are driving you really aligned with your true self? Number one. Number two, first part of this is going to sound good. I want you to initiate a project. All the threes just went, yeah, right. Okay, new project. Okay. I want it to fuel your passion and not just your drive for success. So it has to be something that just feels good. I don't care if it accomplishes anything. And I don't want you to care if it accomplishes anything. I just want you to feel good doing it for your own sake, not for anybody's approval, not for anybody's outside approval, not to perform for the crowd, to just feel happy in your heart because you took this thing on and you had fun with it. That's it. No goal, no 3-point shot from the half court, none of that. Okay. Type 4s are romantics, the individualist. You guys get caught in the emotional processing rather than taking action. So similar to the ones where the ones don't want to do something because they don't want it to not be perfect. They don't want to be criticized for not being perfect. But the 4s can get stuck in the over emotional processing. And then they kind of freeze and don't act. They just get stuck in feelings, okay? And revisiting feelings and going deeper into the feelings. So so yeah, that's where your challenge might be in this overcoming energy of Aries. You might just go deeper into the feelings, deeper into the emotions, deeper into the cave of those, deep dark feelings that nobody else can feel the way you feel, because that's what fours are good at. So here's what I want my fours to do. Express yourself in a tangible way. Launch a creative project. That part should feel good to you guys. Find a creative project, change your style. Okay. Usually fours are going to be good with that. And then with that, make a bold decision. Um, that's going to bring you out of that cave of emotionality. So using that creative project to change your style, do something new, different, innovative. There's your Aries piece, okay? Innovative, new, like, and let it sweep you, not into the cave of emotion, but out, so that we see the incredible gifts that you bring, rather than keeping them to yourself, and locking them up in that emotional cave, that can become too comfortable, and take you into shadow. Okay, so type fives, our investigator, also the observer. You guys, again, similar to that one and the four, with the inaction that will, kind of come up with fives. It's due to overthinking. Okay, so your challenge is again, this is go time. Aries energy is go time, right? Your challenge is you're going to get caught up in overthinking and analysis paralysis. You're not going to do anything. Okay. This is the one time you want to run with the wild horses, fives. Okay. Let it take you somewhere. So what does that get to look like for you? How do you utilize this inceptional Aries energy? One, you're going to be good at this. This one you're going to like. Trust your intuition. That one's easy. Okay. Trust your intuition. This one's the one you're not going to like. Overdoing the endless research. So if you get an intuitive hit, trust it. Don't spend the next 10 hours on the internet looking it up. Okay. Trust it. This is the season where you can just run with that energy of trusting your amazing intuition. And fives are just hugely intuitive, right? So trust that. Don't run to the research. Engage in real world experience. This is another thing. This is where it gets a little uncomfortable for you, but this is the time to, again, to just kind of run with the wild horses right now. Engage in real world experiences that expand your comfort zone. So you're going to feel a little uncomfortable, kind of like I said with the fours, wanting to stay in the cave and not come out of it. But once you do that thing that takes you out of your comfort zone, this energy is going to sweep you in this direction that normally you wouldn't really like. And you're going to find that it's going to invigorate you and kind of lift you up. It's going to pull you into that active Aries energy of spring. Okay, so type six, our loyalist, our loyal skeptic, also a head type, along with the fives. You guys struggle with self-doubt and you want external reassurance. So your challenge is always to kind of look toward others to confirm also your intuition. Like sixes are intuitive also, right? You know things, but you want to confirm it. Where you're different from the fives is you want to confirm it through other people. You want to get that consensus. Okay, Mary said this, Joe said this, John said that. Okay, so I'm probably right. It's safe to do what I think is probably right. So you're going to poll people. The fives are just going to go to Google. Okay, so it's the difference of how your challenge is going to present itself. And then the way to use this energy, this active Aries energy, is to make a decision without over consulting others. So, so this is the gift Aries gives you. This is courage season. It's like courage is there on the silver platter for you right now, for all of us. So, but you guys need courage. You need it more than the other types, right? So this is courage season for six. So take that courageous step toward what makes you feel free and emboldened take a risk, right? That's the one thing that scares the heck out of six, right? We don't like risks if we're sixes. We want to plan, we want to be safe, we want to know all the possible pitfalls. Yeah, well, this is the season where you've got some energy that you can go in a different direction with that. And you don't have to make sure that everything is safe. You know, nothing in this life is a guarantee of safety. Nothing, right? We can't guarantee that. Sixes try. And I'm going to say I'm not making light of that, because I also do believe that in our groups, in our friend groups, in our family groups, in our society, we do need sixes to keep us safe, because you guys are awesome at that. But this is a chance for you to try something different and feel different through it. Okay. And that takes you toward faith. And that's the one thing that sixes need, is that faith and belief, right? And that's why they plan and try, because their faith wavers sometimes. So this is the time where you can just ride that wave, be courageous, be bold, have faith, do something that's wildly independent, and know that it'll be okay. All right. Type 6. Type 7, the enthusiast. Your challenge, the thing you don't like to do is be uncomfortable. So you will avoid discomfort, or in your case, it may also look like limitation, restriction, being held back. And you avoid those things by seeking ways to distract yourself, seeking ways to get out of what feels limiting and confining to you, because those things are uncomfortable. Sevens don't like to feel, they feel uncomfortable things. They'd rather just go on and do something fun, right? So there's your challenge point. So it's Aries season. Here's what I want you to do. Focus your energy. So sevens kind of have that Aries kind of energy. Normally you have access to it because you're the adventurer. You want to just go out, be bold. Let's do something. Let's go bungee jumping, or, I'm kind of being extreme there. I mean, some of you may, but sevens like to rush into the fun and active energy, right? So it's Aries time, and we've got this eclipse, and it is very active, right? So sevens might be stirred to run and rush into things anyway right now, because you're good at that normally. So focus your energy on one meaningful change. Here's what's you're not gonna like that part, right? One meaningful change instead of jumping and hopping between ideas, because this Aries season right now for you, ordinarily you want to jump and hop. You want to go pollinate all the flowers anyway, right? Because they're all fun. So pick one flower. Okay, one thing that's meaningful to you instead of jumping from idea to idea or project to project, whatever it is that gets you caught up in your distractions. Pick one, make it really good, make sure you enjoy it, and then commit to seeing it through because you purely love it. Okay, make sure it's the thing you love so that you can push the other things aside, because the temptation normally for you is to do all the things. And now, especially, that's going to be a little more tempting. So pick one, make sure you really love it, see it through. Okay. Use the wave of the Aries energy to do that. Okay. Type 8, the challenger. Your challenge is resisting vulnerability. Vulnerability is scary to our eights. They like to be in control. And you're hesitant to soften and be vulnerable in this world because that does not feel safe or secure or smart to an eight. An eight wants to make sure they're protected, safe, and in charge. Very different from the six. The six is more about fear and like a withholding back, unless you're counterphobic. Discussion for a different episode. But yeah, the eights just want to charge in and be the boss so that nobody else can take over and possibly make them vulnerable. Okay. So here's how you guys handle Aries energy. So again, Aries is gonna puff you guys up, kind of like the sevens. You're gonna like this energy. All right. So here's how you use it. I want you to take the leap. Eights are like, okay, yeah, leap, I'm in. Right. I want you to take the leap. Here's the part you're going to hate, that requires emotional openness. We won't call it vulnerability, openness, emotional openness. So take the leap, take the action, lead, be the boss. Those things are good. Okay. Take charge. It's got to take you into emotional openness, though. It has to be something that's going to make you emotionally open. Express your feelings. You do have them. Ask for support. This is a huge one. We think of twos struggling with that, but there's a line between 8 and 2 also. Eights don't like to ask for support. It means they're vulnerable, right? So they're just going to get it done. And if they can't, they're just going to go off. They're going to go into 5 land because that's where eights go, in their lower expression, right? They're not going to tell anybody they might need help. All right. So have the courage. Again, Aries is about having courage. You have access to courageous. You're ordinarily courageous. So apply your courage to asking for support if you should need it. And start something from, this is kind of similar to the fives, start something from a place of connection, rather than control. So when you use the inceptional energy, you just want to own the whole show, right? You're in charge. So in this one, enter into things from a place of connection. Collaboration maybe could be a way this could look, instead of leading, being part of this this group connection where you can be open and feel a little bit vulnerable. Okay. And use this Aries wave to have confidence to do it. So you're ordinarily confident, right? We know that. But have the confidence to be vulnerable. Okay. Type nines, last one here. Our peacemaker, our mediator on the Enneagram. You guys tend to procrastinate. You don't like initiating change. And that's because your goal is to make peace and make everybody else happy. And in the process, you lose yourself. Okay, so there's your challenge. It's that procrastinating and avoiding initiating. And this is, again, not to sound like a broken record, it's Aries season, it's inceptional. This is where we're supposed to initiate things. Nines don't like to initiate anything. So here's how you use the energy. Assert yourself. That takes practice. It might take some discussions with yourself in the bathroom mirror, which is okay. And take direct action on something that you've been putting off. And I'm going to say, pick one. It's kind of similar to what I've said about a couple of the other types here, particularly the seven. Pick one thing, because I want it to be meaningful to you, because I think for nines, it has to be meaningful, and feel that you're asserting your energy for something that is going to serve peace. So I want you to do it for yourself, but it'll be easier for you if you see it as part of your role as peacemaker, on the Enneagram. So assert yourself, take action on something that you've been putting off. Make sure it's meaningful to you. Make sure that it's is aligned with your goals and values. I guess that's probably the better way to say it. And you're prone to sloth, type nines, right? That's that procrastination kind of energy where you could just go into non-doing, and you kind of remove yourself from the equation. You kind of fade into the wallpaper, um, because this feeling of not being worthy, that everybody else is more important. Um, and it's more important for you to listen to them and merge with them, and that's how you make peace, is by connecting with people, right? Make everything nice. So yeah, I want you to do something, take direct action on something that is meaningful to you, something that maybe you've been putting off because you're trying to make everything nice, like Hallmark movie nice for everybody else. So go forward with that. Say yes to an opportunity that excites you. Okay. Because you certainly don't get to do that often enough. It's difficult for nines to do, because they're trying to appease everyone else, and keep everyone else happy. So if everyone else is happy, the nine feels that there's no conflict. Nines don't like conflict, right? So if there's no conflict, everything is hallmark perfect. And There is no hallmark perfect. Never was, never is. Um, Never is, probably never will be. And I think that's part of being human. And I think that's part of the fantastic thing of being human is being able to adapt when things aren't perfect and finding the perfection in the imperfect. I know the fours are like probably getting that more than anybody else right now, but there's perfection in imperfection. So all of you remember that one. All right. So remember, it's a new year, right? It's a new astrological year. It's an exceptional energy. Go out there, appreciate the energy of the ram, charge forward into what brings out your gifts, what connects you to joy, um, what makes you feel whole. Um, and again, I'm going to use that word gifts. Bring forth your gifts to humanity. All of our gifts, all of the 9 reflections of the gifts that we bring through the Enneagram or the 9 reflections of the face of God. So you're bringing forth divinity. So be confident and courageous in doing that, all of you. Um, Again, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share. I really appreciate you doing that for the channel. If you're interested in scheduling a session with me in spiritual direction, you can do so online, mariamandarino.com. I have all of this in the show notes. I do offer a free discovery call. So that link will be in the show notes as well. If you're interested in doing Enneagram typing with me, I do that as well. I also do astrology charts, and probably leaving something out of there. It's late here, so and I apologize for getting this on late. So in the other work that I do, I'm an acupuncturist, and my office is going to be moving. So that's my inceptional Aries energy of the next few weeks. So if things are a little scattered here, please understand my background will probably be changing a couple of times as well. So I will see you next time. Thanks so much for being here. Go out there and seize the day. Carpe diem. Okay, Aries season. Have a good and safe and meaningful eclipse. And I'll see you next time. Bye.